Hey folks, I'm Alex Story with Skill Mammoth Digital, and today is episode 32 of me building my agency in public. What this series is really an accountability exercise for me to make sure that I'm focusing on the things that grow my business. And for you, you get to see what it's like, building a 5-figure agency in public, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the wins, but also the fails. And you can give me tips and tricks if you have, ideas. But, also I get to put in public, so it forces me to actually put numbers on the board. So every single day I ask and answer these 4 questions. How much money did I make, aka revenue? What am I doing to get more of it? What am I doing to keep it? And then what am I doing to fix the business inside, aka strategy? So same 4 questions every single day. If you want to do this exercise with me, I recommend that you do. This is kind of like my formula to make sure I'm focusing on success. So the scoreboard with revenue. So we are at $34,495 in the last 30 days. That went up a little bit from yesterday. That's because I've got a couple of recurring revenue first month payments posting. Nice, but it's not, going up to like that 40K number that I was at. MRR is at $12,889. And we're looking to grow to 18K by November 1st. That's kind of where we're at. Still no new sales. It's like 20 plus days now without a new client, but there are some deals that are growing in follow-up. So prospect 1 is a concrete kind of like dynasty. They got 3 different concrete companies. They all want websites. And then the retainer would be about $900 a month for their SEO, just local SEO, nothing super fancy. And I got this awesome text today. I'll show you kind of what that is. I'll just put it on screen. Hopefully I don't have any numbers in it. But you can kind of see as I have to get out of the presenter mode for this particular slide deck. So I'll move this over and you can see. But here it is, right? So this is the text. What I did as a follow-up, just to kind of like, be like, let's make it hot, is I just built a little mock-up of his website for him. He's like, dude, I like what you have to offer. I'm going to talk to Sarah. Sarah's his daughter and see what she says. Probably do something. I need to contact the person doing mine right now. So, there's a little bit of a blocker right now, but it seems like he's excited and wants to move forward. I'm at the mercy of talking to Sarah and this other person. I did email him back and say, hey, you want me to set up some time next week where I can go on a call with you and Sarah? So we'll see what happens. But that was, I'm pretty pumped for that because that would bring me up to, roughly 13,700 with just that one. Then I have another 3K build with $929 a month, and they're really excited. That's a roofer that came from a cold email. And then prospect number 3 is a warm referral for a website rebuild, and theirs would be $479 if they end up buying, right? And I think they're likely, really the only thing constraining them is just honestly their business might not be as successful as I think it looks from the outside. Like if $479 a month is something that's giving them trepidation for the value that I'm giving them, that is something that they just, it's not a viable business right now, right? Because their website sucks right now. They're not getting any traffic. This would be a great investment for them from an SEO perspective. But yeah, closing all 3 of these would jump us to 15K MRR, which would be fantastic, right? That's a good chunk of change. And then I'm only 3K away from my 18K goal by November 1st. So hit my sending target for today for sales, for my lead generating activities. So 940 emails sent, 14 replies, 2 positive. Overall, the campaign sits at 1.6% reply rate, 23% positive, and a 5% book rate. Really, really, really trying to get that 5% book rate. I'll talk in the strategy section on some things that I'm doing to kind of make that number go up. And also I got an inbound referral today, which is pretty awesome. And that turned into a booked meeting. I think I'm talking to him either tomorrow or next week, right? So it's a Wednesday. So it's either tomorrow or next week. So yeah, some meaningful progress. Fulfillment, right? 2 tasks done today, 3 left. I'm almost out from under my fulfillment, which is great, right? And then that means, I can continue working on my sales pipeline. So strategy. So I've got 2 things I want to talk about today. So training up or hiring fresh. So, I posted yesterday about, skilling up my part-timer, and Nick was like, dude, don't even waste your time. Just hire somebody who has the skills out the gate. Now, I don't have $1 million to hire folks. So it would have to be somebody like overseas if we go through it. And I do have, just because of the series, I got a lot of folks. It seems like I got like a pretty big, Indian audience. and they're in my DMs just asking me like, hey, can I work for you? And like, you know, it honestly, I might be like, you know what? Here's some homework. If you can do this thing that I'm asking you to do and you can show me you're competent, I might hire you. Right. Because my current part-timer works evenings only anyway, and it's not as reliable as somebody who could work full-time, albeit, you know, maybe in a different time zone. Okay. So another thing that's been working for me, and this is what's kind of getting me that excitement today, is I built this prospecting skill today, and it's nothing super complex, but what it does is it scrapes my clients' or prospects' website, you know, finds their copy, finds their images, videos, those kind of things. It reads their Google business profile, ingests real reviews from their business and puts it on the website. It builds and deploys it to Netlify, and then it gets a branded link. You know, so it says go.skillmanagement.com/branded name. So it seems really fancy. And then it's, you know, ready to send, right? So that's been what I've been doing so far with some of these positive replies that I've gotten. I haven't done to all 30 yet because it still can't quite one-shot it. I got to play around with the skill so it has some of the tweaks that I would do on a website, you know, for it. But once I can one-shot it, I could use this honestly for outbound, you know, even like from the front end, right? So, but to kind of wake up some of these older positives that I've gotten over the couple of weeks, I'm going to build a website for every single one of them, just with all the things that I talked about that would help them with their SEO. And then be like, hey, I built it for you. Here's what it looks like. Here's what I do. I'd rather show you than just talk about it. So you kind of see that I'm legit. I know what I'm doing. And look, it already looks better than your old website. It has all these features, these smart features that we talked about. You know, do you want to have a meeting with me? Because this is something that we could take a little bit longer on, and it would look 10 times better than just this kind of like, you know, one that I built in a couple hours. So I think that'll be a potential awesome path forward. Yeah. So another thing that I want to talk about is I'm about to be solo dad for the next week. Thursday, my wife is flying out to Austin, and she's taking her mom with her, and her mom is usually like my backup childcare provider. So I have no childcare for my daughter from Thursday to Tuesday. So that means I'm on full time with my daughter, which means, you know, I can work for the most part. She's 3, so she can do some playtime by her, you know, on her own, but like she still relies on me for, you know, everything. So that means no live meetings for 5 days, right? Which is not necessarily a problem. That means I can focus on fulfillment and at least the outbound that doesn't require, you know, me to be on a live call. But it does slow me down a little bit. And I can still work from my laptop, you know, on the couch or at the kitchen table, you know, while she's playing and stuff, you know, instead of in my office. And then after she falls asleep, which is usually around like 8 p.m., I can just dip up to my office for a little bit, you know, throw the baby monitor on, and then get a couple hours of work too, like doing these kind of videos and whatnot. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, it is what it is. It's the reality of, you know, being a father. Sometimes you are the one that has to be the child care, and I don't mind it, but it's also like splitting that focus between family and business. But yeah, if you have any tips, you know, I would love to know, like, if you're a dad, if you're a working dad or a working mom for that matter, right? You know, how do you keep momentum through that stretch, right? Without meetings. Anyway, just yapping. Let me know what you think. Bye for now.